I went antique shopping and I wanted fishing gear. This is a place in Spokane, Washington called Tossed and Found. All of their antiques together are probably older than the earth. There is so much to choose from at this store. Up and away, above and beyond, I want to shine a light on how nice these guys are. I would give them the keys to my car. And yes, I am a nice person too. I just trust them. Well, sheesh diddly deesh, look at that lure. That's bound to put a fish on my dinner plate. Might even catch one for you too. I found these vintage flies. They had to be 100 years old. There's so many patches, I don't even know what to do. You could patch our ozone layer with all these bad boys. Got sinkers, spinners, and lead fishing line, baby. That's not for sale. I tried. They know I would eat it. I've been looking for one of these joints forever, dude. I'm kidding. I have no idea what a seagull buoy does. But we came here to find some goods and learn more about the good that's out there. This is actually a good lubricant for your reel, and I don't know what this is. Now for the reason you stayed. Like for a part 2. The sheesh that we like to do and the sheesh amount of money that we spend on it, my friends. It is amazing, but it's great, and that's what makes a hobby so good and so passion driven. Right as I said that, I'm like, whew, that's deep. That is really deep, but it's true. It is so true, and it's so true with fishing. We as fishermen, if you see us down there on the river, we probably love what we're doing. There may be some places in the world where fishing is more of a necessity, but if it's not a necessity and it's a passion of yours, bruh, gonna trudge through that forest land that we see. If it looks like a trail, it is a trail, baby. We are going. Us as fishermen, we love this stuff so much, we'll freaking army crawl our way across the river. And if there's water, then we'll start swimming. We're pretty resilient creatures. Thanks for checking out my passion. It's cool if we share it. Welcome to the spot. I walked out my front door into Narnia today, dude. This place is sick. All right, this is a new location I've never been. Always important to make it through the trees as eloquently as possible. If you're new here, we're going fishing and you're coming with. Unless you scroll by. Thank you for stopping in though. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on to your hats because the trees were trying to take them today. Do you have a favorite fishing hat? Sheesh, we made it. The reason I chose this spot is because there's a rock out in the middle of the river. As you can see here, fish really like to hang out by these large rock structures. With water pushing on the large plane of the rock face, it creates the negative space for an eddy, and then they can hang out and just wait for food to come to them. This is what I was seeing from down on the shore, and it was awesome. Like, you couldn't cast very far, but there was fish. You could see them. I've got to be using the wrong setup at this spot because this fish you can see on our right-hand side turns away from the lure. I've broken every fishing rod I've had. Today was number 12, baby. All right, so I broke an eyelet off this rod tonight. In honor of this being literally the 12th rod that I've got in 2023, I'm gonna see if I can break this thing intentionally. Super easy, to be honest. 10 out of 10, we're gonna try again. I've wanted to break one of these over my legs for so long when you don't catch a fish. Woo! All right, now I have a pack rod. Let's go backpacking. Today I climbed through thorn bushes to get to a fishing spot. It hurt. I rolled up on a fish right away. Spooked into oblivion. Little guy swam faster than Michael Phelps in '04. The topic of this video is castability in tight quarters. With a spinning rod, you want to make sure you have direct clearance above you, behind you, and beside you. With a fly fishing rod, you want the same thing, but you need the area to be a little bit more open. You basically want to make sure your line will fly through the woods without getting stuck on a tree. You can see here I'm keeping my head on a swivel so that I can watch the fly line as it goes through the trees. I'm not the greatest at casting like this. I'm going to be honest. I got to get dialed in. I also did this in dress shoes. It doesn't help. I broke my 12th rod of the season. I did it on purpose this time. I threw a swimsuit on this bobber so I don't get censored. Fish antique shopping part 2. I didn't buy this Subway footlong of a lure, but I wanted to. It was $80 though, and I need to eat some food, y'all. That's actually a really fair price though. The guy who made that big lure is named Albert Ford. In 1967, he carved his first lure and he called it a blooper. It's probably pronounced blopper, but this page is called Fishing Bloopers, so we're gonna go with bloopers. The next fishing lure I found was this one. I've never seen anything like it in my life. This was obviously handmade and extremely old. I broke out the 10x magnification just to show you guys how weird this thing looked up close. Tossed and Found Antiques has got some historical pieces. For example, this fishing bobber is a porcupine quill. I'm at 40 seconds. There's too much to show, so I'm gonna go through real quick. The dice lure. A fly so old you might not want to use it. The Snoop Dogg. The dog owner. Lures that pull apart like Benadryl. Not sponsored, but utilized. We have a lure that has a fish inside of it. A true bait loophole. I had to stop in to check this place out. This is Stephanie at Teleport Vintage.
Hey, Spokane! Come check us out at the Teleport Block Party today.
The block party was partying.
Yo, we got candles.
We got electric photo land here.
Hella denim.
Yes, sir. Yeah. They even got more denim inside. Bro, they even got the original Smokey the Bear. I like to call these land surfboards. These ones are actually looking really nice. Surge coming in clutch with the coffee. Y'all are doing wonders this morning. This guy was painting a picture, and this guy was coming in with historical items. Olympia beer, rest in peace. Clean streets, brought to you by trash cans. Thank you, trash cans. Events like these make this possible. This is a new vendor.
Come get some plants down at on the Broadway streets from the vintage teleport.
Amazing. I had so much fun today. So many cool items and so many cool people all in one place is just... Well, let's go to max volume because I'm going to say this place is an 11 out of 10, hands down, baby. All right, y'all, I know it looks too good to be true, but that is unreleased footage of the 2034 glide bait from Bass Pro Shop. I wasn't catching any fish, so I practiced casting. Let's start off with something light. I like to call this the Randy Johnson. You just yeet it as hard as you can. This is a classic low effort, high reward cast. This is extreme effort done in cursive. This is just the one that fishermen and women were born with. This is the giving back cast. Just kidding. Gotta pack in what you pack out. Sheesh diddly deesh, this water is cold, my guys. I brought the biggest fish stick I had today. It's not the highest quality, but it's $20 and it's gonna do the job. I'm using 65-pound braided fishing line, which is basically rope. To keep things real with you guys, this is my carp fishing rod, and I just threw it in because it was handy. The main difference between this rod and my other ones is that this has 65-pound braid and it's a heavier action rod. To sum it up, it can handle a heavier fish. For freshwater fishing, usually you don't need this heavy of line. I recommend a solid 6 to 12-pound line depending on the brand you go with, and all of that is personal preference. Look at this massive fishing lure. Hand carved from nature's garden, this lure is made of solid wood. Shuffleboarded across the dock, my guys. Branson, Missouri. This lure is bigger than the biggest fish I've caught. I'm kidding, but if you got 3 of these, line them up, then we're there. It swims so good it should have an all seasons pass at the community pool. You know who swims that good? Michael Phelps. Who are you? Let's go fishing. Fishing with the stars, baby. This lure is the star of my tackle box. Realistically, this thing is way too big to actually catch reasonable fish with. A holy heavy hitter like this could take down the sandworm from SpongeBob. If you have a big enough fishing rod, you could catch a whale. It sounds like I'm trying to sell this thing. I'm not. I just love fishing like an unhealthy amount. Anyways, follow for more. I rolled up on this guy with his dog and I wanted to respect his space, so I stopped to ask him if I could fish.
Yay!
I was so impressed with how well him and his dog worked together. I told him I do these videos for fun, and I asked if I could put him in the video. He said, of course. He even threw the target again for the dog. We were talking about fishing. He said he'd recently caught a 4-pound smallmouth bass. I wouldn't be surprised if he could have his dog retrieve that for him. All in all, it's amazing what hunting dogs are trained to do. I met 2 really nice people tonight. As an angler, talking with other anglers when I'm out and about is really special. To the guy in the truck picking up his friend fishing, it was really great to meet you. Thanks for recommending the spot. Have you ever had a pair of boots so full of water you could skip a rock over the footholes? Today we're going fishing. Come along. If you're new to the page, please find your assigned seats. Started off with a beautiful trot through the woods, wild sage adorning the landscape. It smells like home. Because it is home, baby. We're here. This is the river. I love this place. I'm not gonna lie, I had to walk down the river because this spot was not producing fish. Unfortunate as that is, it was also unfortunate that I fished my way all the way down the river until it was dark out. I caught this stick at sunset. That's a classic river catch. It's gotta happen once. Sheesh diddly deesh, my luck changed. This big bass just grabbed my lure. This thing started pulling me in, dude. 53 minutes of footage later and there's finally a fish. Though it was the size of a Hot Pocket, it was still a fish. This thing was tugging on my rotator cuff, but I had high hopes of meeting this dude. Working hard to pull this fish in, I was surprised. I was also impressed because this little dude shimmied his way back in the water all by himself. Last time I was at this trail, I was bald. I was 12 years old at the time, mainly focused on AAU basketball. This stretch of H2O has produced some amazing fish. I'd like to welcome Clyde, Calvin, and Jeff to the channel. Clyde, Calvin, Jeff, and I met on the shore not too far from here. Someday I'd love to rekindle, grab a bite to eat with those guys. Maybe they'll swim down here. Walked into the office not expecting this today. Spent about 30 minutes at this first spot and then I went to another one. With the sun heading to bed for the night, I had to use these leg toothpicks and get to the river real quick. What's up, fish? I'm not here to eat you. I'm here to catch you and release you. I just want to make sure you still live in the river, you know? Haven't changed your guys' address or anything. If you have, I'll make the commute. If you're spawning, I'll respect your space. But I know darn tootin' well that salmon are the main fish spawning in September and we don't have many salmon around here. Tangled up and ready to fish. I guess I just didn't know nothing about how to get this thing untangled because it took 7 minutes. This spot was prime. I wish I had more time there. Got a new fishing rod and cast it out. Jiggle jangled this lure off the bottom. And I do swear this is one of the biggest fish I have had on my line in this river. Heads up, it doesn't get to shore. But it was worth highlighting in a video because you can see me fighting this thing and it is like, it is so heavy. Even though I didn't catch it, look what it did to this lure. Dude has a mouth made of scissors. I wonder if that was a pike. People usually ask me, why are you always in flip-flops? You know what I say? It's a skill, baby. You try walking down the beach with only 2 toes strapped in. I suck at shoes. I actually used to walk around barefoot when I was little, but then I got too old and society was like, no, you should probably put on some thongs. So I did, and life hasn't been the same since. Check out this amazing dice lure. Perfect for playing a game of Yahtzee with the fish. I had to get this bad boy river ready. I picked this up from an antique shop called Tossed and Found. I got my big Berkeley pole because it casts further. Didn't want to lose this lure, so I figured it was ideal to bring the 65-pound braid with me. That way, if I get stuck on a boulder, I can just tug as hard as I can until the hook snaps, or until my pole snaps. Real quick, I usually would not use this heavy a line. I actually broke my G Loomis and my Lamy glass by doing this. I was using really sentimental lures and I got caught on the bottom, tried to pull as hard as I could to get them unstuck, broke the rod. It just wasn't worth it. Thankfully, those companies have great warranties and awesome customer service. They got back to me in like 127 hours. Psych! They got back to me in like 3 to 6 hours. 20 out of 10, I would go with one of those brands for my next rod. 127 hours is actually a movie and it's a really inspiring one. So determined to catch a fish with this, I even went to a completely different part of the river. I didn't catch a fish today, but I guarantee I will catch a fish on this. And if I lose this thing, I'll figure out a way to make one.